Welcome back, everybody. James Bouligny here with Hoops. I am your host. I have my co-hosts here with me, Paul Harris and Ryan Chadwick.
How's it going?
Hey, James.
And Nick Thompson.
What's going on, guys?
All right, we're going to get into it, but before we do, let's hear a quick word from our title sponsor, Whataburger.
Whataburger, please print back the Monterey melt. Message received. Print it on. The Whataburger Monterey melt is back. What a burger!
All right, we're going to get some games from last night. We had a couple games. I was supposed to go to Robert Lee and Water Valley, but something happened. The game got moved to Thursday. So we did have Lakeview and Big Spring at Reagan County and Christoval. Ryan, Chadwick, you were at Lakeview. Talk about the game.
So
Delgado had, 1,000 points?
What?
Delgado hit 1,000 points, right?
I mean, way to just spoil it, but I was just going to say Lakeview secured a huge district win over Big Spring at home last night. Ended up winning that game 56-34, and it was a game that the Chiefs led throughout the entire contest. Anytime that Big Spring would try to make a run, Lakeview's they just played super efficiently on defense, and they just kind of like cut every run they had right off at the knees there. But with that, most of their points came from fast breaks. Like Big Spring got to the paint, but they just couldn't really do anything once they were there. There was a lot of block shots, a lot of steals from there, and the Steers just really couldn't get anything going. In that win, Joseph Delgado actually passed the 1,000-point mark in the Chiefs uniform, so congratulations to him. He joins Braylon White, who did that earlier this season. But in that game, Braylon White led the Chiefs with 16 points. Delgado added another 14. And yeah, the Chiefs needed that win to stay in the playoff hunt. They're currently third place in district with 4-2 behind Lubbock Cooper Liberty and Lubbock Estacado. Paul, what's going to take for them to not only make the playoffs but not end up with that last seed to have to go play a first seed?
Well, yeah, they had an overtime win over Levelland last time, and so now they got to go. Are they going to Levelland for this next one?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I mean that's huge. You know, I mean, and if they don't win that, then they're likely in a third place tiebreaker, and you don't want to go in as the fourth place team. But man, they've shown a lot. You know, they got some talented guys on the team, and so they've swept Big Spring now. They need to take care of business versus Snyder, and then that Levelland's huge, and even Lubbock Cooper Liberty, they only lost by 15. It's not out of the question. Mm-hmm. That Lakeview could even end up in a tie for second. I mean, Estacado is the only team that's not within anybody's reach in this district.
So even like you're on the road, you have an off shooting night. Maybe that's one of the reasons they lost to Liberty there. But they get to host Estacado and Liberty one more time, and then on Friday they have to go play Snyder, and they also have to go on the road to play Levelland. So it actually looks good for the Chiefs right now. And of course, in the early game, the Maidens fell by 25 in that one, 55-20. But I will say that the Maidens are putting it together. They're already playing better than last year. And I know that's got to be frustrating if you're playing on that team or coaching or you're one of the parents. But where do you find hope when you're just on a losing streak like that, Paul?
All you can do is be better than you were the game before. You know, I mean, if sometimes you have to measure success not in victories but in progress and improvement, and that's all that you can do. And hopefully just build towards a better future next season is really all you can do right now is try to lay a foundation for a better future.
And I will say, like, there are improvements. Like last year, they weren't even getting out of the teens sometimes, and it seems like they've already won 2 games this year, and it seems like they're getting closer and closer to a district victory, even though they're just not quite there yet.
All right. Paul, you went to Reagan County Christoval last night. I think nobody's surprised that the Christoval girls won. I think they're 11-0 in district. They didn't have to play their starters on Friday to win the district title. But the Christoval boys have kind of been a roller coaster this year, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, they showed what they're capable of, beating a team like Reagan County by 33. But now they've dropped 2 of their last 4 games. They lost to Reagan County last night, and I'm expecting a great game. I'm like, Reagan County is going to bounce back. This is going to be a really good game. First place on the line. And, Reagan County just played as well as they could, and Christoval maybe played as poorly as they could. Just Reagan County jumped on them from the start, and they looked every bit like the team that we saw ranked number 3 in the state at the beginning of the year. That Christoval loss made them fall all the way out of the rankings. But, I mean, they had it all going last night. Kason Brown, Jarrett Brown, Levi Knight, just Nick Franklin as well. I mean, ton of talent on that team. I don't know why they have not reached their potential, but they certainly did last night. You know, the loss to Jayton, number 1 team in the state in 1A last week. That was a bit of a wake-up call for them, you know, and of course the Christoval loss was a wake-up call as well. But, you know, it's really weird the way Reagan County and Christoval went to each other's court and blew the other team out. So, but Reagan County is in control of the district race now. If they take care of business, they're going to be district champs, and Christoval just needs to regroup and get it back together so they can, you know, hold on to second place in that district now.
I do think this Christoval team is still pretty young. I think they only have like 2 seniors, and Bruce Cooper's their big guy, and I think he's a junior this year. But I think maybe that youth plays into it a little bit because they like you said, they went and beat Reagan County in Reagan County. Cooper had like 30 points in that game, and then it was a game against Sonora till right before halftime. Then Christoval kind of got a little lead right before halftime. They got on a little 6-point run, and then they just kind of expanded that lead a little bit and kind of kept that cushion there. And then at the Ozona game I went to. Before I left, you know, it was a tight game. Ozona was actually up, and Christoval came back and won like 46-42. And then they lost to Forsan earlier in the season as well. So I think maybe they're just young, and they definitely have that potential to be one of the better teams in the state, like the girls are. What do you think?
Yeah, you know, I think last night, I mean, you know, when they look good, they you know, early on I was like, okay. After Reagan County had the big lead to start off, I thought, okay, Christoval's going to start coming back now. It was only a 15-point game at halftime. If they come out decent in the third quarter, maybe it's different. Instead, Reagan County ran out 10-0 run, you know, out of the locker room, and that was it. I think it just kind of maybe broke Christoval's spirit a little bit that they're like, okay, we're not going to be able to hang with this team tonight, and it just got out of hand. Obviously, they've showed what they're capable of when everything's working, you know, so they just have to just scrap that, learn from it, and move on because they're still capable of getting second in the district and, you know, getting a favorable playoff run and, you know, path and winning a playoff game or two. So they've showed what they're capable of, and last night hopefully was just an aberration for them because it you know, it was a bad deal, especially a Reagan County team that was desperate, you know, looking to prove a point, and so it was just kind of a perfect storm for Christoval for things to go bad last night. But I don't think that was indicative of who they are.
No, I don't think so either. But we also have to understand that Reagan County does have one of the best basketball players in the area, exactly, in Kason Brown. And Jarrett Brown's no slouch. You know, just those coaches' sons are great players, and I think everybody knew that coming into the season that they were going to be just the stars there. I mean, they're not just one sport athletes too. You know, Jarrett Brown blew up at quarterback for him. You know, they're athletic, they can play, and I'd like to see them make a deep playoff run. But let's move on. We got some South Plains schools. So Nick Thompson and Ryan Chadwick. The Stanton girls beat Idalou, the ranked Idalou girls, and then the Idalou boys beat the ranked Slaton. What did I say, Stanton?
You said Stanton.
My bad. I meant Slaton. The ranked the not ranked girls Slaton team beat the number 6 girls Idalou team, and then the boys Idalou team beat the number 8 ranked Slaton boys team. I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place. Chadwick, take this one.
The underdogs took it, man. It was crazy because Idalou was ranked on the girls' side, Slaton was ranked on the boys' side, and it's like both underdogs beat them.
That's what I meant to say right there.
I got your back, James. But Nick, you were there, man. Just go ahead and take us through it.
Yeah, so traveled up to Idalou, walked into the girls, and I mean, it was a pretty close contest for the most part. I mean, Idalou was only down, I want to say it was the Tigerettes were at like up 19-13 or something like that, and it looked like a pretty close game for them. But what really stopped Idalou in that game was just the height. The girls they had good rebounding, great steals too, and the height got them in the paint especially. That was their Achilles tendon there. They just couldn't get past. There was a couple players, couldn't remember their names, but they just towered over these girls. When I saw them play in shallow water too, they were draining shots. Like, these girls are good. They're ranked for a reason. But talking to Tyler Helms, their head coach, after the third quarter. of the boys game. And he said, "Yeah, we just got to bounce back. That's something we've played them before. They actually they beat them last time they played them. I want to say it's the first district game they played, and this one was just kind of a wouldn't say a fluke. It was a pretty high margin they lost to, but it was just they learned from them, and then they kind of just they scored a lot of points. I mean, just off that height, like I said. Now going over to the boys, that was a fun game. That one was really cool too. So off the rip, I mean, Slaton was up 5-0. Like it was a quick two off a fast break, and then a deep three as well. But Jensen Davis, he went ahead and it was a good little block on the backboard. And after that, it kind of just turned up the momentum. I mean, the player to highlight there is going to be Cutter Huchin. He scored, I want to say, 28 points that game. The dude was just going off. Everyone was kind of just racking up assists, and he was the one scoring everything. And then towards the end, what's his name? Lucas Jargon. He had a really cool dunk as well too. But those boys, I mean, don't want to mention this too. I mean, Slaton is ranked as well. So seeing them play, I mean, they were a totally different team than when I saw them last against Shallow Water too. And I know Shallow Water's ranked now, but I mean. That was a huge win for Idalou.
All right. Chadwick, go ahead and talk about the other Tuesday's results since I can't read today.
All right, man. Well, in District 26A, the notable matchups that we are going to go over, of course, are the Friendship Tigers and the Central Bobcats. Starting off with in the girls, the number 14 ranked Friendship Tigers beat Midland High 72-34. On the boys' side, the Tigers took care of business as well, and they won by 30 points as well. That one was at the 70 to 30s range. On the Bobcat side, the Lady Cats unfortunately just didn't have it. They ended up losing by 2 or 3 points in this one, and the game was in the 20s, so it was a real big defensive battle. I think that the Lady Cats need to continue to rebuild. Kind of like the maidens, kind of similar situation. I know that the Lady Cats have won more games this year, but they're young. They're incredibly young. They have a new head coach, and it's going to take them another year or two to get them ready to go. I think what's her name? Sam Howe on the Lady Cats.
I've only seen them once. I don't know them that well.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I'm sorry, but like she's like one of the only, like the girl I'm talking about is one of the only seniors on the team that's a huge contributor there. But on the boys' side, much better night for the Bobcats. They ended up winning 90 to 33. One of the best offensive showings by the Cats all season. And of course, like if you only allow 33 points, one of the best defensive showings. So that still puts them only at 2 losses in the district, right behind 1 loss Permian and of course undefeated Friendship. Sets up a huge matchup on Friday when the Friendship Tigers travel down to play the Bobcats in San Angelo at Central High School. Going to need big games from Squeaky English and TK Taylor, both. They're their main scorers there. But it's been brought to my knowledge now that I've seen them play a couple times that there's also a couple other contributors. There have been some injuries, so I don't know who's going to make up that starting 5. But the Bobcats barely lost on the road in Lubbock, and I'm going to roll with my alma mater, and I do think that they should be favored to win this game. Should make the district race a lot more interesting, but of course that's not going to matter even if they do win unless they take care of business against Permian. Now, moving on to District 3 5A, that's going to be all the big Lubbock schools. Lubbock Coronado beat Amarillo Caprock on the boys' side. Cooper beats Amarillo Tascosa 52-50. Palo Duro beats Lubbock High 93-35. That's not a game that I would have liked to be a part of, I'm not going to lie. Lubbock High needs to continue to work. Amarillo High beats Lubbock Monterey 72-44. Amarillo High is state ranked. We've seen some good things from Lubbock Monterey, but I will say some of their best players are still out with injury, and they got guys like Sam Arrington, sophomores, having to step up big. And then, of course, Amarillo Caprock on the girls' side beat Lubbock Coronado 48-45. Amarillo Tascosa, ranked Amarillo Tascosa, beat Lubbock Cooper 50-41. Lubbock High beats Palo Duro on the girls' side 52-37. And the biggest shocker in it, man, it's one that I wish that we could have been at in Amarillo, but Leah Chavez and the Lubbock Monterey Lady Plainsmen fall to Amarillo High 73-66. So that just reshakes up that district all over again too, because they were tied for a while. Now they're not. So I don't know, man. So that one's interesting. But the Lubbock schools, they had a bunch of district mix-ups there. In District 6-3A, of course, that's going to be our Wall and Great Creek schools. The girls beat Merkel 71-24, while the Wall boys beat Merkel 53-34. Jim Ned, boys and girls, won big over Great Creek, and of course Sweetwater beat TLCA, and what has ended up being definitely a rebuilding year for the Eagles out there. But yeah, man, that's pretty much the giant rundown of all the notable matchups last night, James.
All right. We are going to get to our Carpet Tech Player of the Week, but before we do, here's a quick word from Carpet Tech.
When I was at work and my daughter called and said, "Mom, there's water in the basement."
There was quite a bit of water in our carpet.
There's water coming out your front door.
And I saw water coming out of the garage closet.
I called Carpet Tech.
I really felt like I was being treated professionally and personally and friendly.
They came in, they said, "Don't worry about this. We're going to get it taken care of."
I think what matters the most to me is that I feel comfortable and that I can trust them.
All right, let's get into our Carpet Tech Players of the Week. We have one from the Country Valley and one from the South Plains. Chadwick, you were at the game last night. Talk about it.
So our Carpet Tech Player of the Week is from Lakeview High School. It's Joseph Delgado. The young man dropped 14 points in the big win over Big Spring last night. But the most important achievement in that is that he entered the 1,000-point club. Right, he scored over 1,000 points in a Lakeview Chiefs uniform now, and he joins his fellow teammate Braylon White, who did that earlier this season. Paul, I'm pretty sure you were at that game, right?
Yeah, that's right. We've had good luck with the Lakeview milestones when we were there. And
I will say that's one thing that a bunch of the people at the game last night, and of course some of the people doing the scores table was like, make sure you mention this. Like, he's in the 1,000-point club, and I was like, I got you. Like, so big shout out to Joseph. He's been. When Braylon is super covered, because obviously Braylon White's their leading scorer this year, Joseph Delgado is that next man up mentality guy. So congratulations to him. He had a heck of a game, and hopefully the Chiefs can continue this playoff run.
All right, and talk about the South Plains Player of the Week, and Idalou Wildcat.
All right, so Nick, I'm just going to hand this one over to you. This one is Cutter. What is it? Houchin,
I think.
Yeah, so he dropped 28 points in the upset over number 8 Slaton. Go.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Cutter Houchin, like you mentioned, dropped 28 points. I mean, he was definitely the lead scorer in the entire game. Anything down the paint. I mean, even a couple deep threes. There was one on the tip of the arc and then one in the corner as well that really kind of changed that momentum and kept their lead over that ranked team over Slaton. So he's definitely going to be the South Plains Player of the Week.
All right, that's not all we have to talk about. We got something else to talk about. Something pretty cool happened up there in the South Plains. Nick, you want to take this one?
Yeah. So number one national ranked Leah Chavez just announced earlier this week that she will join the 24-player roster of the McDonald's All-American team. That will be played in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn on April 1st, I believe, at 5:30. So I'm not to say. I mean, she scored. She's done very, very well this year. But and I know basketball is a game of just being in it and everything too. But I know with that achievement and that opportunity, she probably run through her head during that game yesterday against Amarillo. So congratulations to Leah Chavez. She's definitely national attention. So I hope she keeps killing it.
All right. Congratulations to Aaliyah Chavez. And we're in some game previews for tonight. But before we do, here's a quick word from Jim Bass Ford.
Right now at Jim Bass, scan our QR code and find great deals on cars and trucks. Right now, you can get a brand new 2024 Ford Ranger, just $31,777.
You can only get deals like this at Jim Bass Ford, Houston, Hart and Arden Road, or 24/7 at bassbunch.com, or you can scan this QR code.
It's QR code, boss.
That's what I said, QR code or QR code.
All right, we have some South Plains and Concho Valley teams meeting up this week. Most notably, Friendship. Friendship is meeting up with Central. Chadwick, you want to take this one?
Yeah, like I said earlier, Central has 2 losses in the district. They're right behind Permian, who has 1 district loss, and Friendship, who's undefeated in district right now. If Central beats Friendship, when they beat them, because I think they're going to win, that just makes everything a little bit more interesting, because Friendship's still got to play Permian one more time, and Central still has to play Permian one more time. And last year, the district was so tight they actually had to have a little bit of a play-in tournament after the regular season was over, just to determine the seeding, just because there were so many ties in district. So if the Bobcats take care of business, beat the Tigers, and then they basically went out and beat the Panthers after that, and then the Tigers and Panthers trade, we're in that same situation again. And like, I'd like to say I wish the Bobcats would have taken care of business at least like through one of them earlier in the season, but it is what it is. But it comes down to a very big matchup. The Tigers need Chase Campbell to have another big game, and of course TK Taylor's going to have to make a huge impact like he did in the first game. But it's really going to come down to how much of the ball Christian Squeaky English is going to have control over. It seems like when he's the one dishing it out to other people, that's when the Bobcats do well. Because if you stuff the inside to make sure TK doesn't get to the basket, that just leaves English open on the outside, and we know that no one's better in the district than him than shooting the 3. So it's going to be a great matchup, and it's one that I really wish that I could be at.
But you'll be there, Paul. You'll be there, Paul, right?
Yeah, I'm pumped to see the Bobcats. This will be the first time I got to see them this year, and what a game! They're going to make a run at the district title. It'll start Friday, so I'm pumped to see them.
All right. And the other 2 games are up there in the South Plains, Chadwick. New Home at New Deal, and Lubbock Cooper Liberty at Lubbock Estacado. So New Home at New Deal is going to be a rivalry game. It's the 2 teams just north and then just south of Lubbock there. It's gonna be a fun one to watch. I don't know how competitive it's really gonna be, because New Home is ranked on the boys and girls side, but rivalry games are always fun. And then of course Lubbock Cooper Liberty at Lubbock Estacado. That's the 1 and 2 teams in Lakeview's district there. So like, I don't really think that Liberty has enough to beat the number 7 ranked Estacado Matadors, but hey, upsets happen, man. And then, of course, on the girls' side, Estacado and Liberty, it was a good game last time. I expect to be a good game this time as well. All right. Other notable matchups include Lakeview at Snyder. It's a key matchup for Lakeview. Lubbock Cooper at Lubbock Monterey. Roscoe and Miles. That's a big matchup there. That could be first place in the district. The girls are that was a very... You were there, weren't you, Paul?
I did not see Roscoe and Miles the first time they played. Miles girls got a 1-point win, so that's what's kept Roscoe from running away with the district. So
you were at Roscoe Ballinger, right?
Right, I was. And so if Miles girls beat Roscoe, that'll create a 3-way tie, for first place. So that's huge. Otherwise, it's going to set it up where Roscoe will be first, Ballinger second, Miles third. And then on the boys' side, Roscoe's undefeated in district. Miles' only loss was to Roscoe. When I talked to them last time, that they were looking forward to the rematch. They feel like they didn't play their best game. So that's an awesome doubleheader. It's too bad it's way up in Roscoe. We can't get to it.
All right. And we also have Clyde at Wall. And Wall is Wall, of course. They always have competitive teams there, regardless if they have new coaches or not. Anything else, guys? Anything else we got to bring up before we wrap it up? Chadwick?
Texas Tech has 2 really big Big 12 games this week. As the time this is being filmed, anyway, they still haven't played TCU, but they got TCU on Wednesday and they got Houston this weekend. So you want to make a statement for yourself, Red Raiders. You finally got in the AP top 25. Let's take care of business this week too.
All right, Paul, you got anything?
No, I mean it's on the horizon a little bit, but Wall and Jim Ned, the rematch in Wall, that's going to be something really big to look forward to, especially now that Wall's full strength on the boys' side with Lane Stansberry. Would love to see how they handle Jim Ned this time.
They've been a different team since he's been back.
For sure, they're definitely a district title contender and really to make a big playoff run with him in the mix. I mean, what an addition,
I mean, if we're talking about on the horizon, next week we have Farwell playing Olton. And Farwell's kind of been a thorn in the Christoval girls' side for a while, so that would be a really good matchup. little ways out still. But Nick, you got anything?
Kind of piggybacking off of Ryan, I hope Texas Tech kind of does really well these next couple games. I know there's rumor that Darian Williams might not play today due to an ankle injury, but hopefully he gets healed up, and then that Houston matchup's going to be tough. So I'm rooting for the Red Raiders, knowing them in true fashion. I don't want to talk bad, but they always seem to find a way to win against the good teams and to lose against the bad ones. So, but you never know. That's why the game's played.
All right. Well, for Ryan, Chadwick, Paul Harris, and Nick Thompson, I'm James Bouligny, and we'll see you next time.